Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we're gonna learn how to crochet this cardigan, and I hope it really helps you because I've mainly made this tutorial for beginners, so I hope it's really easy for you. Anyways, let's get started looking on to the materials that we would require, and I would be using 2-ply yarn of 2 colors, which would be So guys, to make the foundation chains, I'm going to show you with a light color so that it becomes clear in the picture, in the video. So let's get started. So I'm going to start by making a slip knot, and to make a slip knot, first make a triangle shape and then cross the triangle. You should be getting a cross. Once you get the cross, grab the longer hand of the yarn and then just pull through, and then you're gonna get this loop, and in this loop you're gonna insert your hook. So that's how we make a slip knot. And now we're gonna chain 2. So to chain, you're gonna yarn over, meaning you have to yarn your yarn over the hook, and this is how you do it, and then pull through. So that is your chain. And once you get this chain, and then this is one chain, but we need one more chain, so we are going to repeat the process, yarn over and pull through. So you get 2 chains, and now you are gonna rotate your work, and then once you rotate it, you see these 2 stitches. So I just got a needle to make it more clear. So this is the front side of your work, and this is the back side, and into the back side you're gonna see these 2 stitches. You're gonna see these little bumps, which are these, like this and this. I hope it's clear. So what you're gonna do is insert your hook into the bump of the second one, the first chain. So this is chain 1, this is chain 2, and this is the first one. So you're gonna flip your work then, and then you're gonna see what you're gonna do is flip your work, and then you see this chain 1. So you see this chain 1, you're gonna flip your work, and then you're gonna see this one bump. So that's where you are gonna insert your hook. So yarn over and then insert your hook into that bump, and then insert your hook into that stitch of the back side. It's gonna be a bit tight, but it's actually gonna be easy. And then you're gonna yarn over and pull through. So you're gonna have 3 loops, then yarn over and pull through 1 loop, and then you're gonna again have 3 loop. This time you're gonna yarn over and pull through 2 loops, again yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Now this is what a foundation chain is like. So I've made 1 double crochet. I'm going to repeat this, and now you might be confused where to insert your hook, so I'm just going to make it a bit clear. So you see that this is the top of your project, and this is the top chain, and then this is the bottom chain. So you're gonna insert your hook into the bottom chain of your double crochet. So yarn over and then insert your hook into the bottom of the double crochet, and then yarn over and pull through. You're gonna have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through 1 loop, again yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So that's how you're gonna continue making the double crochets as foundation double crochet itself. And again we're gonna insert, so if you're not sure where to insert your hook after completing a double crochet, always remember that this is the top chain and then this is the bottom. Like you can see it clearly, this one is the bottom and that's where your hook should go. So yarn over and insert your hook, and you need to be very sure to not insert it into only one stitch, because see, this is the one stitch, but you are going to insert into the 2 stitches, these 2, and then yarn over and pull through. You're gonna have 3 loops. Just repeat the process, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, then yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So that is basically how you are gonna do the whole thing. And then I'm gonna make it again into the bottom of the project. I'm gonna insert my hook and loop up the 2 stitches together, yarn over, and I'm gonna be having 3 loops, yarn over and pull through 1, and then I'm gonna do yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So that is how we are gonna do it. For my project, I'm gonna make 58 double crochets in each row. So once you finish making all of the stitches, and just to clarify, this is not the 78 double crochets, it's actually a shorter version. The black color didn't show up clearly in the video, so I'm making this one in a lighter shade instead, just so the stitches are a bit obvious. Okay, anyways, I'm making mine with a length of 47 centimeter, but of course that depends on your preferred size as well. If you're not sure about what length to go for, you can always refer to one of your sweaters or cardigans that you have at your home, and that will help you out a lot to get more precise measurements. Alright, so after completing these rows of foundation double crochet, is going to be stretchy as you see, and then we are going to chain 2, and now we're going to work onto the other row as well. Okay, so after chaining 2, this is 1 and 2, you're going to turn your work, and then you're just going to make double crochets into the top of the stitches. So you're going to see 2 chains over there. They're going to be a V structure, right? And then we see that there's 2 stitches. This one is the outer stitch and this one is the inner stitch. We're only going to work into this stitch, only into one of the stitches, which is the outer stitch. So we're only going to work into the outer stitch. So yarn over and insert your hook into the outer stitch, and then you're going to yarn over like this. You're going to have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So that's just what you're going to do, and that is basically just how this whole is going to be. And we're doing this just so to get the a better structure of the cardigan, or just better. And then again I'm going to make my double crochets into the front loop only, and then again I'm gonna make my double crochets into the front loop only. That's just how you are going to continue. That's basically how the pattern goes. Once you reach the end of the row on the very last stitch, it's better to insert your hook into both loops instead of just the front one. This helps make the edges more sturdier and gives the cardigan a better structure. So go ahead and continue making your double crochets after finishing a row. After finishing a row, simply turn your work and repeat the same process. Just double crochets all the way across. So that's just how the whole thing is going to be like, and I would switch up my color to black because this is just an example, just so the pink would be more visible than black in the video. And then I'm going to make 7 rounds for one color and then switch on to the next color, which would be dark pink for me. And this totally depends on you on how you want to make it. But then if you want to make exactly like mine, then I'm making 7 rows of double crochet in the same color and then switching up. Alright, so I'll meet you once I make 7 rows of double crochets with the black yarn. Here I have made 7 rows with the black yarn, and I'll just measure it up for you. So it comes to be about 51 centimeters, which is 20 inches in width. And now I'll show you how to switch colors. So once you finish the 7 rows, you're going to chain 1 or even 2 if you want your work to be extra secure. And then you're going to leave a long tail and then cut your yarn, and then just pull through. So you're gonna have a long tail, and this structure is going to be stretchy and see-through, which is very normal. Now you're going to turn your work like you would normally do, and then take the new yarn color that you want to attach. So I'm going to be using the dark pink color. So just insert your hook into the last stitch and pull through the new yarn color, and then tie a knot just so we can secure the new color of the yarn. This is how I usually secure my yarn, and I also end up making another knot just to make it more secured up. And then I'm gonna insert my hook into the stitch and make 2 chains. So this is 1 and 2, and then we're going to make a double crochet into the same stitch that we just made 2 chains. And also be sure to make it only into the front loops, because remember that is our design, so that would just give us a whole different design, right? So we're gonna only make it into the front loops and only double crochets. So I'm just gonna keep making double crochets all the way till I have 58 double crochets. And once you reach the end of the row, you're going to repeat the same process, chain 2 and then turn your work and continue making double crochets across. Just like before, make sure that each row has 58 stitches in total in a single row. This would keep your stitch count consistent and your panel would stay even. For the pink section, I am also gonna make 7 rows just like I did for the black one. And then after completing 7 rows with the pink, I'll switch back to black again and crochet another set of 7 rows. So in the end, for one panel, I would be having 3 panels of black and then 2 panels with the pink. So guys, once you make all the rows, this is how it is gonna look like. And I've also made the other one in the same way, and it's just literally the same thing that you're repeating onto the other side because they are just similar. So if you have any confusions, then just go ahead and replay the video. That would actually help you a lot. So after making both the panels, what you're gonna do is align both of the panels together, place them on top of each other, and then you are gonna figure out the neck hole and the hole for the arm. So how you're gonna do that exactly is that if you want to keep it like mine, then I have made the stitches over here like this. I have counted up the stitches, and these are 15 stitches, and on the 16th stitch is my mark. You can use stitch marker or bobby pins to mark it up. I have used these pins, and they're actually pretty much dangerous, so I don't recommend using these. Okay, so anyways, and then you are going to mark it up like this and this. So this part, the whole part over here is going to be sewn. Don't mind my English. And then the part over here is also going to be sewn together, which is from here till this point. And this is also 16 stitches in total over here, and then 16 stitches over here. So the hole between this is going to be a neck hole, and this hole measures approximately, wait, let me do that, wait, mind you, so this hole is 24 centimeter. As you can see, this is 24 centimeter. If you want to know it in inches, then it's 9.5 inches, and that is what my size is. I've actually wore this up together and then measured the space, my neck space. So if you feel that you need to do that, then go ahead and do that. Or if you want to keep it like mine, then mine is 24 centimeter wide. And then for the neck hole, what you're gonna do is, I recommend wearing it first and then checking the size that you need it. Or if you are not very sure about your measurements, then what you can do is that actually use some old t-shirt of yours or the t-shirts that you probably wear right now, and then check the hole spaces for that and then keep it accordingly. So I have kept it 2 rows apart, and this is the stitch marker for mine. So I'm gonna make the hole this wide, and then I'm gonna add the sleeves, of course. So this hole for me, if you want to know the measurement, is 22 centimeters, which is 8 and 7 inches wide. So that is how the whole space for the sleeves is gonna be, and this exact measurement is gonna be repeated onto this side as well, like you see this side. So it's gonna be same. Okay, if you get it, then you actually get it. Okay, and then this whole down part and the part from here till the down is gonna be sewn through using these threads. So yeah, that's pretty much the basic of what our further plan is. And yeah, so now we're gonna sew the parts together, and to sew them together I just removed the stitch marker. Okay, so to sew the parts together, it's actually black, the yarn is black, so I'll try my best to make you understand it. And then yeah, so what you're gonna do is insert your yarn into the needle like this, and this is the yarn that you have left, the long one. So that this is the purpose that we left long yarn, so that we could sew it later on. And then yeah, so now we're gonna make them together. So you're just gonna simply insert your hook into both the stitches, and you want to make sure that your project is aligned equally to each other. So your project should actually be aligned. So you're going to insert your stitch into this and this stitch. So it's basically the first stitch for both of the panels, and then you're going to pull it up. There is also going to be a bit more other yarns, we are going to ignore them, and then insert it to make a knot, and then we have a little tight secured knot. So yeah, and then now we are going to continue to make the stitches to make the connection. So you can see that we have this stitch, right, and in this stitch we have 2 loops. This is the front loop and then there is one back loop. So you're gonna insert your hook into the back loop only, so the back loop of both the stitches, and then pull through. Don't pull it too tightly because that is gonna ruin your project. The shape also is gonna be ruined, so we don't want to make that. So yeah, and then I'm just gonna make it like that. We're only inserting our needle into the back stitches, and make sure it's aligned. I'm saying this again because if it's not aligned, then it's gonna cause you trouble, so just make that sure. And then I'm just gonna do that all the way to the mark stitch, and this is, I'm gonna do this for 16 times as I marked it up here. So yeah, and whatever your stitch mark is, you are gonna need to do it till there. So yeah, that's just how we do, and it's actually pretty it's relaxing, if you, in a sense that if you actually see, then it's relaxing because you just don't need to do anything and just sew it like this. And this is actually my favorite part. So yeah, and this is how we are gonna have pretty neat seam sewing, and you won't be able to tell that where the stitch was made, where the sewing part was done. So yeah, and then once you reach the end of your stitched mark stitch, we are going to go into that very last stitch into the back loops only. Be sure with that, and then make another knot just to secure it. So yeah, that is what it's like, and I'm going to make just one more in case, to make it a bit more secured. Oops. And yep, now we have this all parts sewn on together, and now we actually are left with this big yarn. And what we are going to do is that weave this in ends like this. So what I like to do for this is that I just go into these like this, like just go into this, because this is just gonna make your work look more neater. It doesn't matter if you are doing it with black yarn, especially because black yarn is not actually very visible. So yeah, and if you are doing it with white yarn, then you might need to do it, because I'm not very sure if that white yarn also does not look like what I'm thinking of it. So yep, that is how we weave it in like this. And then this part, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this because this is excess. So yeah, and then this one is also what I'm gonna do. Wait, let me just do it. Just do the same for this. Weave it in ends like this. So yep, and then you need to cut the excess. And yep, we are done with this part, and you can see that once you flip this up, it's very much neat than the inside, than the wrong side. It's pretty much neat to the right side. So yep, and I'm going to repeat this thing over this area. And now I'm going to show you how to sew the side parts. So to sew the side parts, you're gonna again insert your yarn into the needle, the long yarn actually, and then just insert your hook into the stitch like this.
And again, just do the same, make a knot like this so it's actually secured. And then, and I want to put this to your attention that if you need to grab just one stitch, like just this part of the stitch, and you don't need to insert it into this hole, because if you do that, then you're gonna be left with such a big hole, and I'm pretty sure that that will not go well with what our aesthetic is. So yeah, just try to make it like only into one of the stitches. That would be really well. And I'm repeating this again. Make sure that your work is aligned very well. And for this one, you can also just do it like this. And yeah, that is how I'm going to be doing it. It's not very specific where you should be inserting your stitch, because it's totally on how you stitch it. So yeah. But make sure that you do not insert your hook into any of the big holes like this one. And apart from this big hole, try inserting it on top of this, so like you have a bit like space and that hole does not get very stretchy. So yeah, that's just the thing that you need to keep in your mind, and rest is whatever you wish. It would be fine. So I'm just gonna make it like this, and it's gonna be sewn together. I actually like the sewing part a lot than crocheting. I mean, I'm a crocheter, but I still say that I like it the way for the sewing, because it's just assembling them together. I mean, I also like crocheting, but then I like to stitch my projects more than I like crocheting. I don't know if you feel the same way. And this right here is my last stitch. So we remove that stitch marker and into the last stitch. Oh, I forgot to make a knot. Okay, and then into the last stitch we make a knot, and then just do the same to weave in the end like this, so that it's pretty much secured and that your work just looks pretty. And then you're gonna cut this as we don't need it. And then yep, this is how I'm gonna be sewing the whole of the rest of the part. And then I'm gonna meet you once I sew all of these parts together. And then we're gonna see on how to make the sleeves. So yep. Okay, so after weaving in your sides, you're gonna have the hole for the sleeves, and now I'm gonna show you how to make the sleeves. So to make the sleeves, you're gonna grab the color that was on the very top of your neck hole, which is like this, and then you're gonna grab the same color and the same size hook, and then okay, and yeah, I forgot to say that I just also stitched the 3
rows of the pink one, because I felt that then the hole would have been just a lot bigger than I would have needed it. But then if you want it, you can just leave it like this and then just make the armhole. Okay, so we are gonna start up by pulling up our hook into both of the stitches like this, and then grab the yarn, pull it a bit and tie a knot. We need it very secure. We need a secured up knot, so be sure that you make some extra knots just so it's, you know, secured a little bit more. And then once your yarn is secured up, you are gonna insert your hook again into the same stitch, and from there chain 2. So this is 1 and this is 2. And then we are gonna work onto this side, like this side, and then we are gonna work onto this side all through the way to this side. We are pretty much just doing double crochets. So yeah, and to be very sure, you gotta be sure that whatever rounds of double crochet you make over here, whatever the number of double crochets you make into this, it should be same onto the other side. So you gotta be sure with that. For me, I am gonna be making 48 double crochets as the start one, and then I will increase it to give it like a flare sort of structure. We'll see that. Okay, so then I'm gonna make a double crochet into the next stitch, and also into the front loop only. So my front loop is going to be this one right here. As you can see, I have left the other loop, which is this one, like see, like there is also the other loop. I've left that one. And then yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And that is just what I am going to be doing. So again, yarn over into the front loop only, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So I've made 2 double crochets now, and here we go for the third one. It might be a bit hard to get into the stitches, and it does not actually depend on it, and it actually depends all on you, on how you perceive the double crochets, because it's like, see, it's not very clear on where you should be inserting your stitch, but it depends all on you. So just make sure that you do not leave just like a lot bigger spaces. Like this much space is fine, but it should not be a lot bigger. So we're just gonna be making it like this. Okay, so after completing up all of the round, I'm just gonna make it a bit clear. See, like I have not made very much huge spaces except for just in one of these. It's fine if you just keep it in one of these, but just try to not make it in a lot of them. As you see that it's like it has equal spaces. Only for this one I forgot about this one because I needed to make it 48 double crochets in total. So yeah, that's basically just what we are gonna be doing. And then after completing up my stitch count, I made 48 double crochets. So, and then after that I am gonna be making a slip stitch into the top of the 2 chain stitch. So my slip stitch is gonna be
over here. Slip stitch is basically just yarning over, and then when you have 2 loops, just pull through that loop. And now I pretty much have 48 double crochets. Yeah. And after that I'm gonna chain 2 again and then turn my work. So we're not gonna be working like this, instead we are gonna be working in through this. So I'm just gonna turn my work. And then I am gonna be just continue making double crochets into the front loops only. So yeah, that is what we are gonna be doing. This one's 1, and then this one's 2, and yep, that is pretty much how you are gonna be doing it. So yeah, that is how you are going to be doing it. And then again, this was row 1, and I'm going to make in total 7 rows with the black, just like I've made over here. And then I'm going to switch my color to pink and then just continue making. And so I'll meet you once I finish making 7 rows in the black. Okay guys, so here I've made all of the 7 rounds, and now I'm just gonna make a slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet, and just like that. And then now we're gonna switch on our color to the pink. So I'm gonna chain 2 just to make it a little bit extra secured up, and then just leave a little tail and cut off. And now we are done with 1 round, and it depends on your size of how long your hand is. Mine is just as big as the 4 of these, meaning that I'll just need to make 1. This is the 1, so I need to make 1 in pink, then 1 in black, and then another in pink. So I mean, these 7 rounds cover up my hands a lot. Yeah, I don't know if you say it's small or whatever. Okay, so and now we're gonna switch on to the next color. So to switch on to the next color, you're gonna insert your hook into the stitch that you just made a slip stitch. So that's this one. This was your slip stitch, right? So this one is going to be the stitch where you should be inserting your hook, and then you're going to grab the other yarn and make tiny secured up knot, or maybe double if you want to make this extra secured up like this, and then just chain 2 like 1 and 2. And then you're going to need to turn your work. So I'm not going to continue crocheting like this, but rather I would crochet it like this, because remember we just flip our work after each round. So that's what we are now doing on with the pink yarn, and this is pretty much how it is like. And now, since we do not want our sleeves to be just straight, but rather want them to be flared up like this in the picture, I'll post it over here. So for that, we gonna make some increases as well. So as we are gonna be increasing in some of the rounds, for now we are only gonna make 48 double crochets into each row until we make 3 rows with the pink. So I'll make 3 rows with the pink and then meet you once I finish making them.
And also don't forget to keep crocheting into the front loops only, cause yeah, that's just the whole structure of ours. So if you just miss that, then it's not pretty good. I'm just gonna be doing that for 3 rounds, and then I'll meet you once I make 3 rounds of 48 double crochets into each stitch. And also keep in mind that this 2 chains does not count as a double crochet, so you gotta exclude that and then count that your stitches are 48. And if you're also not sure where to make the slip stitch, if you just look onto the stitches like carefully, then you can see that this is my stitch 1 and then this is my stitch 2. Like, see, it's obvious if you are a bit expert, and if you're not, then it's just fine. Like, try to focus on it, and then you're gonna see like this one as the first chain and this one as the second chain. So we are not gonna make slip stitch into these stitches because these are just chain 2, but we are gonna make a slip stitch into this stitch which is right after the 2 chains. So over here we go and make a slip stitch like this, and then you are gonna chain 2 casually and turn your work. So whenever you are finishing up your rounds, you must keep 3 things in your mind. Number 1, of course, a slip stitch. Number 2, 2 chains, and then you must also flip your work. And number 3 is that you need to make double crochets into the front loops only. Front loops are like these. This one is the back loop and this one's the front. As we know that each chain has a front loop and a back loop, so we are only crocheting into the front loop like this one. And also, if you're also confused that whether you should be crocheting into this stitch or not, then you actually do not need to be crocheting into this stitch right here. I hope it's clear. So you should not be crocheting into this stitch because this is just a slip stitch, but rather you're going to be crocheting into this stitch. So we yarn over, insert a hook into the front loop only like this, and then you're going to yarn over, and then you have 3 loops. So yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then you have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And that is how we do the rounds. I'm just explaining it if someone is completely a beginner, because I would want to help them a lot. So yeah, and now I'm just going to be crocheting into the front loops all the way till I reach here. So that is just what I'm gonna do, and then I'll meet you once I reach over here. Okay, so once you make the 4th round with 48 double crochets, what you're gonna do is that you can see this 2 chains, right? So we wanna increase 1 double crochet. For the 4th round, we wanna make it 49 double crochets instead of 48 double crochets, because that will give the flared like structure as I mean it. So for that we are gonna, and now you might be thinking, how do we increase it? But here's the thing, that you're gonna yarn over. So these are like 48 double crochets to make you sure these are 48 double crochets. And then after 48 double crochets, we want to increase the stitch, right? So where we are going to insert our stitch is into the stitch of the 2 chains, meaning it's gonna be into here like this. So, and it's also the slip stitch of the previous row, and then you're gonna just make a double crochet there and then you just have 49 double crochets in this row now. And then you're just gonna make a slip stitch and then just do chain normally. And from now on your each round should be 49 double crochets. And then just keep in mind to chain 2, turn your work and double crochet into the first loop only. So that's pretty much how it is going to give you that flare like structure. And now I am going to meet you after crocheting the whole of the arm, the whole of the sleeve, sorry. Okay guys, so this is how it turned out, and I've also added another row over here because I wanted it to be a little more longer. And then these are the sleeves. They're, like you see, they're flared up, and yeah, this is what it is like. And so yeah, if you liked watching this video, don't forget to subscribe, and this would help me a lot, and I really hope this video was helpful for you. And then don't forget to like and comment, and then meet you in the next video. Bye.